Hey everyone, and if you're just like me and you pulled this character from your beginner pools, or maybe just in general want to know more about Nekomata, then this video is definitely for you. And today I'm gonna be showing an overview, best build, combos and etc. for our favorite cat girl, Nekomata, or Nekomiyamata. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment about what topics would you like me to cover next. Now, let's begin.
Some say cats are indifferent, aloof creatures.
Nekomata is an S-rank agent from canine hairs with physical attribute and attack typing. She prioritizes high frequency attacks and a lot of dodging. Her basic attacks are a combo of 5 slashes dealing physical damage. The last hit has a 33.3% chance of repeating itself 3 times. The whole version of her basic attack is just the final hit of her combo, and it also has a 33.3% chance of repeating itself. Her dash attack is just a front slash that deals physical damage. Now let's stop here. Her dodge counter is actually her bread and butter move. The animation is really fast and it also sends you back, which allows for a better reaction on the next hits. Also, it activates her core passive, which we'll get into later. Her defensive assist doesn't have anything special, it's just here to apply daze and damage. Her quick assist, on the other hand, also does damage and triggers her core passive. Her special attack just deals a little bit of damage and I don't really recommend using it. But her EX special actually deals a lot more damage and also connected to her additional ability, which we'll cover later. Her ultimate is a big multi-hit field of damage in triangle form. It does a lot of damage. And her chain attack is basically the same thing, but a little less damage. Now onto her core passive. When Nekomata's dodge counter or quick assist hits an enemy, her damage is increased for 6 seconds. This damage increase is actually huge and I recommend you using it as much as possible. The easiest way to achieve this passive is by actually using your dodge counter. And her additional ability increases her EX special damage by 35% for each assault that happened by you or your teammate. And it stacks up to 2 times. And it's another big damage buff, which ties Nekomata to an assault playstyle. Also she gets 14.4% crit rate and 75 base attack from upgrading her core passive. The playstyle I recommend for Nekomata is just mixing up your basic attacks with your dodge counters and use your EX special as much as possible. Now I'll just say a couple of things about her mindscapes, or dupes. Her first mindscape increases her damage when she is behind the enemies. Her second mindscape increases her energy generation when there's only one enemy with her. Her fourth mindscape increases her crit rate when she uses her EX special. Her sixth mindscape increases her crit damage when she uses her chain attack or ultimate. And her third and fifth mindscape just increase her levels of talents. We've discussed her skills and playstyles, so now let's get into her build.
Always whimsical, ever capricious.
First I'll talk about her W engine's options. Of course, her best option is her signature, Steel Cushion. It adds good damage bonuses and also the additional crit rate is very useful. Next is another 5-star, the Brimstone. It's also pretty good, but it doesn't have a crit substat, so it's lacking. The best free-to-play option in my opinion is Starlight Engine, because it synergizes with Nekomata's kit very well with requiring dodge counters. Also I would consider Cannon Rodder for its crit stat and Street Superstar for its pretty good passive. And I don't recommend looking into any of the B rarity W engines. Next up is her drive disc sets. The best set for Nekomata in my opinion is Fanged Metal, because it gives a very nice physical damage bonus and also increases damage when you apply assault on the enemy, which also is pretty needed for Nekomata anyway, so it will be applied anyways. But a little note, I don't recommend using this set if you're not using Piper with Nekomata. I'll talk about her in the team section. Also, Woodpecker Electro is also really good as it gives a nice crit rate bonus and attack buff. Puffer Electro is also a pretty nice option for spamming ultimate, but I don't think it's as good as the other two. For a 2-piece set, I recommend any set above or Hormone Punk. The attack buff is also pretty nice. Though if your stats on 4 pieces are lacking, I suggest just going with 2-piece sets. For the stats on drive discs, I would recommend crits for disc 4, physical damage percent for disc 5, but penetration ratio can also work, and attack percent for disc 6. For substats, go for crit stats and attack percent. Now let's get to the optimal teams of Nekomata.
They don't know anything about cats, really. Cats don't want to be anyone's toys.
With not such a big amount of characters we have at launch, Nekomata is actually pretty flexible, though her only role on the team is of course a damage dealer. With the options that her attribute and faction give her, she can actually be run with Cunning Hairs, Victoria Housekeeping, and the Sons of Caledon. The first and the most obvious is Cunning Hairs, and it's not very optimal. Of course, it has some nice characters like Ainby and Nicole, and also Billy is the same attribute as Nekomata, but he's not very suited for her. Nicole is a pretty good support, but she requires a lot of tagging, and Nekomata requires a lot of field time, so I don't think they have a lot of synergy together. So basically our only option from the Gentle House is Ainby, and yes, she's very good. She's the only free-to-play stunner, so you can just put her in a team and she'll work. She also, because of her element, gives access to Rina, and Rina is a very good support. So the team of Nekomata, Ainby and Rina sounds pretty good on paper, but in reality you can't proc really much assault, which is a core concept of Nekomata's kit. So you need another physical character. All we have left is Corin and Piper. Let's discuss Corin first. She's pretty good as a DPS, and what's more important, because of her affiliation with Victoria Housekeeping, she also gives access to Rina. So you can make a team of Nekomata, Corin and Rina, of course if you have her, and it will be pretty good. You'll be proccing enough assaults, I'd say, and also you'll be having Rina's buffs. But in my opinion, the best team for Nekomata at the moment is with Piper and Lucy from Sons of Caledon, because not only Piper is physical, but also she's an anomaly type character, which is very useful to Nekomata, because she can proc a lot of assaults very quickly. And Lucy, with her large attack buffs, definitely is not the least capable on the team. So I think these three definitely make up the best Nekomata team. Of course you can mix and match and put the different characters together as long as their passives work. For example, right now I'm using the team of Nekomata, Ainby and Piper, because I still didn't pull for Lucy.
Cats don't want to be anyone's toys. What we want is an equal relationship, like that of friends.
To wrap this up, I wanna say that Nekomata is definitely worth building, because she's one of the primary DPS at the moment of 1.0. And she's just very cute and fast, and I like her. So all I want to say is that if you pull her from the beginner banner, just play her, she's really good. And I hope this guide was useful to you and you'll follow at least some advices. Thank you for watching, please subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye!